everyone that have been called to the Lord, he says, you go into all the world. Occupy. Occupy. Take your rightful place. Take your stand. There's a place for you. When he talks about occupation, he is saying to you that there is a place for you. There must be the positioning of the people of God so that everybody is in their rightful place. If you're out of place, then what happens, it's by default you lose. And it's a whole lot of people that's out of place now. They've allowed the influences of the world, you see, the kingdoms of this world, the influences of this, and the spirit of this age to influence them so that those spirits begin to get them out of place. That's the enemy's thing. He can't force you out of position. So what will he do? He will try to influence you out of your rightful position. He can't just come in. He cannot just pluck you out of the hand of God if you're saved, but he can influence you out of the hand of God if you're not surrendered. It will be your decision. And the tragedy of it all is that some people use spiritual language. The Lord said. The Lord told me that this is what I'm supposed to do. I said, is it glorifying the Lord? How is God glorified in this thing or through this thing? Oh, I wish you could hear me, church. I wish you could hear me. These are serious times. This is not play. This is not game, fun and games. This world is being shaken now. The world, I would go into some of the things. We understand that this movement, it didn't begin here, but we can reference it even during this Arab movement, and we saw what happened with President Mubarak in Egypt, and as a result of the movement of this tyrant ruler, it didn't leave a vacuum. But what happened as a result of the removal of one person, it happened in Iraq. Anytime there was a removal of an authority, even though that authority might have been wicked or he might have not been a righteous ruler, but when he was lacking, things didn't get any better because there was no plan. There was no, you see what happened? There was no strategy that included something better to replace it. And the reason that there was no strategy to replace with something better is because it was not in the hearts of the vigilantes to do that. Whoever removed must have a strategy or plan, and that strategy or plan cannot come through some kind of debate or some kind of political system. It has to come from God. So now, let's look at this. Let's look at this. This is what's going on here. We begin to see, he's going to bring it all. We see the mounting resistance covering the whole globe simultaneously. We've never seen it like this. It's happening all over. At one time, the civil unrest, hostile forces rising up, indicating that something is wrong. Now, I want you to hear what's really being said here. I want you to hear not just saying, okay, everybody's wrong. I want you to hear what's really wrong. Something is wrong here. And people are awakening to that. They are realizing something is wrong with these systems. Something is wrong with how people are ruling. Something is wrong with these agencies that have been established all around us. And people are getting tired of it. They say, we're tired of things remaining as they are. So understand what we're saying. It is the disease. It is the displeasure. It is the agitation among people, and it's happening all over the world. People are dissatisfied. Systems of the world have failed them. The systems that people trusted in, they have failed them. And yet, now they're looking for leadership. They're looking for someone to fill that spot. Once the leader is removed, the question is, who will lead us? Who will lead us? Who will take the helm? Who will begin to take the reins of this thing and lead us where we really need to go? That's what they're saying. That's what the world is saying. If you could hear that, that's what they're saying here. So now with all of this resistance, yet they're blind to the root cause of all this corruption. They don't know why it's this way. They just know it's this way. These things have gone wrong, but have you ever stopped long enough to ask why are things the way they are? You see, and by default, it is left to them to take up causes in their own hands. They take matters in their own hands, while the church is too busy doing church stuff. You see, had good service, didn't we? Oh, preacher really preached. Oh, let me tell you something. How many you running, Doc? We're running. We just running. How's your budget, man? We took in all these millions this year. And we have this program, that program, the other program. Man, we are the most popular, we're the best. You see, if you're looking for a church that has it all, come to us. We are the ones that really you see that kind of competitive spirit that occurs within the church. And while the church is engaged in competition, the world is perishing. You see, we by default, we at a place where we lose our effectiveness. We lost, as a church, our cutting edge because the church, for the most part, I'm not saying everywhere in the world, but I'm speaking primarily about the American church that has influence all over the world, has lost her cutting edge.